Hey everybody, it's Bevan, Brand Director for Boom by Cindy Joseph. Today I'm going to talk to you about our process for putting out content and show you how we use Trello and a few other pieces of software to put our content out daily. This is a sample Trello board that we've created for you, and you can actually make a copy of this and start it for your own company. All you have to do in order to do that is go to Show menu over here on the right hand side, and when that pops up, you'll go to More and then Copy Board. And I just recommend you put in the name of your company and then Editorial Board. And you're going to put this on No Teams, and then you'll just click Create. You can keep the cards so you have the templates for those. You'll click Create, and then it will auto-populate with a new board. You can see here, Title Editorial Board. And then you can customize this to however will best fit your needs. And I'll remind you of how to do that at the end of this video. We have a very complicated board because we put out a lot of content. So we are putting out new content 3 times a week, plus remails, plus promos. So you can see here, our calendar is actually quite extensive, and we plan our content out pretty far in advance, although some of these dates may move. But this is a great tool for you to see what you have coming down the pipe, and also just to make sure that you always have enough content to put out. So just wanted to show you our board so you can see that you can actually use Trello to create a pretty complicated system. But for today, I have this sample board that we'll be working off of. We use what's called a Kanban style of project management for this system, which means that each of these cards is going to move through these lanes in one direction to get all the way till the end. The first column we have here is ideas, and this is anything that our content team thinks might be a good idea in the future. So we use this as sort of a repository of ideas that can become blog posts in the future. So you can see here we have create some lead magnets, an idea for an article, a pre-sale article. The other thing we have is all of our promo start and end dates. This is great as you're trying to lay out your calendar. You can see here on the calendar, as I'm laying out the schedule, here on the 12th of June, we have a promo that starts and it ends on the 19th. So I know that during this week, we're not going to send out any other content except sales emails. This is great just to know when we're planning. So I don't need to have our copy team write an article for the 14th or a video for the 17th. And I'll just know to go ahead and start that back up on the 20th and 21st. And we plan our promo calendar out for the year. So now I know we also have one starting on July 24th through the 29th. So once you have your promos laid out, which we encourage you to do some kind of promo every 6 weeks, go ahead and pop those dates in there, and that'll just help with the planning process. The next column we have is in process. So once one of our copy team members starts working on an article, they can drag it here into the in process lane, and there we know that there's an article actively being written. We also use a lot of videos, so you might see a card, for example, these Women of the Pro-Age Revolution are all videos. So once a video has been edited and is ready to go into the process, it'll go here into this final video approved, needs a transcript, and then we know that once the transcript is ready, our copy team can start working on all of the social copy. So I'll put this back here into top priorities. This final copy edit add email social copy lane, this is where we actually start writing the email copy, the Facebook copy, ManyChat, Lumen, everything that goes into promoting our blog posts out into the world. So what that means, the article is written or the video has been transcribed, and then that card goes here into final copy edit, add email and social copy. And we'll talk about this content copy doc now. So what this is a template you guys can use. So this content copy template, everything on here in blue is what you would replace with your own copy. So I'll show you here an actual document that we're working off of. So this is a blog post that actually went live today, and I'll show you how this all works through. But this is the content document that we worked off of. So the first thing that our copywriter does is she links back to the Trello card where this is being mapped through the process. This here is going to be for the blog post itself. So we have a title tag, which can be up to 50 characters, and a meta description, which is 170 characters tops. And this is for search purposes. Then she also writes the Facebook blurb. That's going to go when we post the article. This will go in on the Facebook post. And when we post the Lumen, which is a video promotion that I will show you as well, our ManyChat blurb, and then she writes the actual Lumen video, and that has 10 slides. So she writes 10 slides for each article. And then down below here we have the actual email copy. So she usually gives us a couple of different options for subject lines. We do split testing on almost all of our subject lines, which means we send the email out with 2 different subject lines to about 20% of our list. And then once we see a clear winner, the rest of the list gets that subject line, which typically goes out about 2 hours later. So we send our first 20% at 7 a.m. and then the rest goes out around 9 a.m. to the winner of that split test. And Klaviyo lets you do that. Whatever email system you're using probably has a similar feature. Then she also puts in here some second send subject lines. We remail all of our content to anyone who did not open it. So these are just different subject lines that will go out a few days later to anyone who didn't open it. We see here the preview text. This is what will go in the preview section of your email system so that when they're looking at the email, this is the preview text that comes up. And then here is the copy that goes in the actual email. And then we do a couple of pull quotes, and this is for all of our social promotion. So any Instagram or Facebook posts that we're going to be using as ads to promote to our content, these are the quotes we use for that. And then here's the actual article itself right down here. So you can see in this one document we have everything we need to get this content out the door. That's what's going to be happening here in this final copy edit. And we added this top priorities copy lane because we had such a backlog of content. There were sometimes 60 to 70 ideas waiting for our copy team. And so this top priorities column is the top 5 to 7 pieces of copy that we need next in queue. So this could be promo copy, this could be more blog copy, it could be pre-sale articles. So whatever is the top priority for our copy team is going to be in here. And I'll just show you again our board. So you can see here in, oops, let's close that. In the final copy edit, there are quite a few articles waiting for social copy. But here in the top priorities are just the ones that are due soonest. Again, these cards just get dragged from lane to lane as they're ready. So right now in the top priorities copy, we have Claudia's long video. So we'll look in here, and as I said, we keep our content copy doc right here in the Trello card. And if you click on this link, it's going to ask you if you want to make a copy of this content copy template. Absolutely, go ahead and do that. You can use it, rename it, whatever you want, customize it to your heart's content. And like I said, anything that's in blue is what you're going to use, you're going to replace with your own copy for your posts. Also on this card, this due date is the date that it's actually going to be sent. So that's how we look at the calendar. Like I said before, we plot out our schedule. So you can see here, Claudia Long is going to go on June 7th. So that's the final send date. Also in here, we've used some custom fields, which you can add whatever fields you want. This is a power up through Trello that you can add to the card. And on here, we have the copy, when it's due, then a final copy approval, when are the images due, and then we also have fields on here for when it's approved on desktop, approved on mobile, and if we are remailing it, what's the date of the remail. When we're laying out these deadlines, we want the images to be ready 2 business days before the mailing date. That gives our content team plenty of time to load the email and for me to test it and make sure that everything looks great and all of the links work. Our design team has asked for all of the copy 10 days before the images are due. They have a lot on their plate. They want to be able to plan appropriately. So we try to give them those 10 days as much as possible. That way, also, if we have a rush request, there's some flexibility and they can sometimes hopefully accommodate what we need. Set these dates however is best for your team. If they need a little more time or can operate on a little less time, whatever is best for you is great. I usually set the copy due about 2 business days before the final copy approval is needed. That gives me time to review it and go over with the copywriter if there are any edits, or if it's something that Ezra needs to review, it gives us plenty of time for him to take a look at it as well. As you can see, this is still in top priorities. The copy is due on May 24th, so our copy team has plenty of time to get that done. Once it's ready, they'll drag it here into ready for review, and that'll be either your project manager or brand manager, whoever is in charge of reviewing your copy. So once it's in here, I'll take a look at it. Like I said, make any suggestions or edits needed, and then once that copy is ready, drag it here into ready for design. As I mentioned, we use this Kanban style of columns. This means that each team knows exactly which lanes they need to be looking at. Our copy team is going to be looking at these first 5 columns, some ideas, in process, the video, final copy edit, and top priorities. That's where they're going to focus. I'm going to focus on 2 different columns, this ready for review here and this ready for approval here. So anything that's in these 2 columns I know is waiting on my review. Our design team only needs to focus here on ready for design. This is where they know that they can pull their projects from. Once it's in here, the copy is all created and they just need to create the images. So right now this would mean that the design team has 2 projects that they could be working on. Once the design is ready, then our design team drags it over here into ready for approval, again, PM or brand manager. And this is where I know to go and look at all of the images that are going to be ready for a blog post. So let me go back over to our board so you can see what some of that might look like. So let me pull up, this is a blog post that is going out, and what our design team does is once the design images are ready, she'll put a note in here that says Renee is ready, and then I go to that folder and I'm able to take a look at everything that is going to be included on this blog post. So we use a banner image at the top, usually with a picture of the woman we're featuring and a quote from her video. And then we also use some quotes that we're going to use to promote it on Facebook and Instagram. So we've got the right dimensions for both Facebook and Instagram here. And they just have a couple of different ways that we show this. So this is another Facebook image. And then we've got some Instagram. And this is another image we can use in the post itself of Renee. So some great images. Then we use some Instagram story images. Lots of options. So once I've looked through all of those and I say this looks fantastic, then I would drag that over from the ready for approval here to ready for loading. So in this column, this is where our social team and content team are going to be responsible. Like I said, everybody knows exactly what column they should be watching. So once it's in this column here, ready for loading, our social team is going to create the blog post, the emails, the ManyChat, and the Lumen. And then they'll also use those images I just showed you anytime they're going to be promoting a blog post. So let me show you what it will look like for an actual post. This is one of the posts this is our post that went out today. So you can see the title here. This is the content doc. So living life to the fullest goes right here. And then let me show you the actual images that we used for this. You can see exactly how we're doing it. So this is the folder with the images in it. And what our design team did is this is an image we can use in the blog. You can see they used it right there. Then we have another image we can use in the blog or the email, so there it is there. Then we also have a Facebook post we can use to promote this. This is the header banner for the top of the blog post, which you can see right here at the top. And an Instagram story and another Instagram image. Looking at the blog post, then I will take a look and just make sure everything looks correctly formatted. I will check this both on desktop and on mobile because we want to make sure that it looks great on both formats. We have about 65% of our traffic through mobile, but we also have a lot through, so another 35% through desktop. So we want to make sure it looks great on both. So once I've gone through this and I make sure it all looks fantastic, then I will also check the email. So this is the email for that particular article. What our team does is they put test and the date that it's going out into the subject line of the email. So if we ever need to go back and take a look at it, then we know how to find it. It's also really important to have this test in the subject line so that we know it's not a live email going out to the full list. You do, however, want to make sure that your content team removes this test and the date from the email when they send it out and they're using the correct subject line. When this test comes to me, I'm going to take a look first at the formatting, make sure that everything looks great, it's not all wacky or laid out strangely. I want to make sure that the images look great and are sized correctly. And then I'm going to test every single link in here. So this link, I want to make sure that everything is going to the right place because it's really easy when you're sending out a lot of content to accidentally copy over the wrong link. So I'll test every single one that's coming out. We have quite a few links in this email. We'll test them all. And then these links here, we always drive a little bit of traffic to previous stories. So this one's going to go just to our home blog page. And then we've got different stories that we're promoting. So we have Joy, and we have Ellen, and we have Dolores. There's Ellen and Dolores. Great, so I'm going to close these all down because they all look correct. And then I also test that these store links are going to the correct place. We use anchor links so that when people click about moisturizers and cleansers, it's actually going to the moisturizer and cleanser section. Oh, and see, this one didn't do that. So I would go back to my content team and make sure that they update that so that it goes directly to the right section. So that would be something I would send back to them and get a new test. We also on here in our, what's called, all of our boilerplate copy down here, we have a link that people can update their preferences, they can unsubscribe, or they can email us. So when it's not an active page or not an active email, it's going to go to this placeholder. I can show you once the email is live here. If somebody wanted to update their preferences, this is what the page would look like. And if they wanted to unsubscribe, this is what the page would look like. So, or they could click through to update their preferences. And then if they want to email us, this just opens up a window to email us directly. Like I said, I want to make sure that every single one of those links is working correctly on both desktop and mobile. So I will test it here on desktop, then I'll open up my phone and my Gmail app because that is the app that we see most of our readers using, and make sure, again, everything is formatted correctly and the links are all working. Once that's ready, I send that over to Ezra for one final approval, and then I tell our content team that it's ready to schedule, and they schedule it again. Starting at 7 a.m., we do a split test of subject lines to about 20% of our list, And then at 9 a.m., the remaining email goes out to the rest of the list with the winning subject line. That's our email and the blog post. Then, as I mentioned, we also do a Lumen video. So you can see here on the content document that our team created, we have this Lumen video. And that's 10 slides that have copy about the article. This Lumen video for this particular post hasn't been sent out yet, but I can show you what they look like. So here on Instagram TV, on IGTV, are some of our Lumens. So this is one that's recent, and you can see this has 3,800 plays. So this is a great way to reach your audience. Some people like to consume copy by reading or content by reading, and some people like to consume it on a video. So you want to try to reach as many of those people as possible. This is an example of a Lumen video. It has, as I mentioned, we do 10 slides. It's got great imagery behind each of the quotes, and it's just a nice way to really drive engagement and get people another way to see our content. It's usually about a minute to a minute and a half. You can see just it cycles through. So this is on Instagram, and here's the blurb that goes with it. Then we also can see it on Facebook. Here's that example. You can see it just goes through, and here's the Lumen blurb that goes with this. And again, everything here is in the content document. So here is the Lumen blurb. That is the very technical term blurb. So once our Lumen is ready, the other thing that we are going to do is a ManyChat. And so again, just going to show you guys so you see that we really do have everything here in this document. So this is the ManyChat blurb. So our content team will send me a test of it. This is the ManyChat for this same blog post. Are you living your life to the fullest? We hope you are, but if you're not quite there yet, where do you start? And then it has 3 buttons. And again, I'm going to test all of these links. Now, the only link I'm not going to test on the ManyChat is the unsubscribe, because I don't want to unsubscribe myself from our list. So I'll test, yes, send it to me, and then make sure that the right thing comes up, which is read now, has the image. And when you click read now, it takes you to our blog post. This is a great way to keep your list engaged through ManyChat. Facebook Messenger is an incredible way to market to your list. It has a really high engagement rate. The other button I'm going to test is this not right now. So if I've said no, I'm not ready to read it right now, we send a link that says, okay, in case you want to save it for later, you can find it here. We've found good success with naming this link something that refers back to the article, so living a full life. I want to test that link as well to make sure that it's going to the right place. Once all of these tests have been done, then I am going to drag it from ready for approval to, once all of those tests have been done, from ready for loading, I'm going to drag it into the in queue. So this means that it has been completely tested. So I'll say approved on desktop, and I'll say approved on mobile. And that way the team knows that everything has been tested, reviewed, and it all looks great. So this queue is everything is basically scheduled to go. Then once it has been sent, our team will drag it here into sent live. That means we know that it has gone out. We'll also go ahead and check this box so that it is clear that it has gone out on the right date and the right time. You'll see then on your calendar when something has gone out, it actually is struck through on the copy. So you want to make sure that all of when you look at your calendar, everything on your calendar that is in the past is struck through. So I'll just show you again on our calendar, which is a little more intense, but all of the emails in April here have all been check marked that they were sent out correctly and on the right date. We have this stats and data updated column as well. We keep track of a lot of our data to see click-through rates and purchases, open rates. And so once that information has been recorded by our content team, they will drag it here into stats and data updated. And then when everything is done, we drag it here to complete. And then we know that it has gone through the entire process And then every couple of months, you can actually archive this list so that your board doesn't become too crazy. I'm just gonna put this back out there so we know it's there. Show the menu. And so if you need to send something back that's been archived, you can just send that archive list back to the board. That is how we get content out into the world. May seem like quite a process, but this way we eliminate as many errors and mistakes as possible, and we know what's coming up, we know what needs to be written, we know what needs to be designed. It really is incredibly helpful for us to be able to keep things clear and organized in this fashion. Just as a reminder, you are absolutely able to copy this Trello board to your own account, and the way that you do that is go to Show Menu, and it'll come up here to the menu. You click More. You're going to click Copy Board, give it a title, make sure it's on No Team. Keep the card so you can have those templates, and then just click Create, and that'll create that for you. You are welcome to use these templates for these cards. On these video cards, this content copy document will take you right to this template. You can make a copy for yourself, and then, like I said, just customize it however you want. And one more little trick, if you do want to do custom fields, you go here to Show Menu, and you want to go to the power-ups, and you want to use custom fields, and you're just going to add that to, it's already enabled on ours, so you'll just add it to your Trello board, and then you can just add in whatever custom fields are helpful to you. So for us, we use copy due. I want the copy and the design fields to be visible on the front of the card, and then we also have just fields where we can sign off on desktop and mobile. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We're always happy to share insight on this. And best of luck in developing a great content strategy for your brand.